So today I thought of talking about something very relatable and something we don't really acknowledge enough in law school. And I keep getting DMs from my junior asking about the same thing again and again. So I thought of talking about it today. So I'm talking about this constant feeling that you are somehow somewhere behind somebody during your law school years. Like you meet someone and first question is like, where are you interning? How many internships have you done? What's your CGPA? Did you get a PPU? Are you doing enough moods? And then you go back home, suddenly you're like, am I doing enough? And I think we've been part of this competition, right? So this video is not me sitting here telling you that you are above all of this, because I'm definitely not. I just think it's something we should talk about. And I feel like this starts even before entering law school. Like these days I see kids who have not even started their first year and they are already doing internships, which is good. But the kind of pressure you've created in your mind, I mean, are you serious? Because let's just be very honest. You enter law school with a very simple idea that I'll study law, I'll get good grades, I'll get great internships, eventually I'll get a job. Very cute, very innocent. Then you actually enter real law school and you're suddenly supposed to do everything. CGPA, moods, publication certificates, LinkedIn. You need to somehow figure out everything, your practice area at the age of 19, which is too much. And preferably, you should already have a 5-year plan. And I'm like, I'm literally figuring out what I want to eat for dinner. How can I figure this out that easily, that quickly? So, guys, I think internships are probably the biggest part of this competitions, right? Because see, this is very weird conversation that happened in law school. You meet someone, instead of asking how are you, it's like, where are you interning? And you know that next 5 minutes are basically going to be a comparison. Someone says, I'm interning blah blah XYZ firm, and you're like, oh nice. But internally your brain is like calculating, okay, is this better than my internship or what? Then someone says I got a PPU, and suddenly everybody's LinkedIn profile looks like they are 35 with a 3 degree and a partnership at a law firm. And you're sitting there thinking, should I be worried? So now I want to clarify something. I'm not saying internships don't matter. They absolutely do. I've done a lot of internship myself and they have genuinely taught me a lot. I've grown up as a person a lot. The problem I think starts when you are no longer choosing an internship because you actually want to learn something. There's a difference. You're choosing it because you don't want to feel behind. There's a lot of difference. Sometimes you apply somewhere because you genuinely like to work there. And sometimes you apply because bhed chal rahi hai. Everyone else is applying. So probably I should do that too, right? And I think I've done both. And there have definitely been times when I looked at other people were doing and thought maybe I should be doing that. But lately I realized that that was a very exhausting process, because you can have 5 internships and still you feel like you can feel that you need a 6th month, right? The mere logic of doing internship is that it's not a battle. And then there is a whole tier 1 obsession. Again, I'm not saying getting into tier 1 firms isn't an achievement, of course it is, but I think sometimes we start treating the name of the organization as the entire experience. You tell someone where you intern, and the first question is always, what did you do there? It's, oh, which firm, and then which team, and then did you get a PPU? And I think somewhere along the way we forget that two people can have completely different experiences at the same place, right? One person might have learned a lot and someone else have done very repetitive works. Someone might realize corporate is not for them. Like I realized a lot of things about myself, and the funny part is you're comparing your behind the scenes with someone else's achievement, right? You don't know how many applications they have applied, you don't know how many times they were rejected, you don't know how confused they were, and you're just seeing their final achieved post. So yeah, and then comes the CV. At some point, law school starts feeling like you're collecting things. Internship tick, mood tick, publication tick, research paper tick, certificate competition, another internship, and suddenly you have that impressive looking CV. But sometimes you have to stop and ask yourself, do I actually know what I want? Because you can extremely be productive and still be completely directionless. That is one of the things I've faced. And I think that's something nobody tells you. Being busy doesn't actually makes you look like you're moving in a right direction, right? I have definitely fallen into this myself. And there have been moments in law school where I've looked at someone else's career and I'm like, wow, they're doing so much and I should be probably doing more. And then I start questioning my own choices. So what actually matters is four things. First, actually being good at what you do. I'm learning that. Mark my words. For example, if you like policy, understand policy. If you like litigation, learn how litigation actually works. If you like corporate, understand corporate law. Second, being reliable. And this sounds boring, I know, but I genuinely think it's underrated because replying to people, showing up to people on time, doing your work properly, if you don't know something, ask. People remember that. They do. Third, figuring out what you actually like. And this is where internship can genuinely help. Because maybe you do one internship and realize I don't want to do this. And that's not failure, that's information. And fourth, stop building your entire career. I'm repeating it. Stop building your entire career to impress other law students. The one is probably the most important because your classmates are not going to live your life anyway. They are not going to wake up and go to your job. They are not going to do your work. They're not going to deal with your career decisions. So why are we making so many decisions based on what we think is impressive, right? So I don't think the competition completely disappears. There will always be a competition. There will always be people doing better than you. And honestly, competition can sometimes push you. That's not necessarily bad. The problem is when you stop knowing why you are competing. If you're working hard because you generally want something, great. If you're doing another internship because you generally want to learn, great. If you're doing mood because you actually enjoy it, great. But if you're doing it because you saw someone on LinkedIn doing it and suddenly felt inadequate, maybe take a step back. And I think one of the biggest lesson I've learned from law school is that there isn't one correct way to build a legal career. Some people will exactly know what they want to do in 19. Some people are delusional at 23. Some people will go into law firm. Some will litigate. Some will go into policy, and some will leave law completely. So honestly, I think that you might just be looking at too many people else's timelines, and maybe the goal isn't to win the competition. Maybe the goal is to figure out whether you ever want to be part of it, and you have to build one that actually makes sense for you, and that's something I'm still figuring out too. So yeah, that's my little law school existential crisis for today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, and please bear with my quality. I'm sleep deprived, but I promised myself to shoot a video today, so trying to show up.